doing that sandwich pour again, and no, I didn't scrape it. It's just under the table, the other one. It's actually more trouble for this size canvas to scrape it and wash it and clean it, and oh, I just get paint everywhere. It's just easier to keep it. If I don't like it, I'll give it to someone. You never know, this one that I'm doing now might be worse, and then I'll wish that I had have kept the other one. So it's still here for those that are worried about me getting rid of it. So going again, same but a little bit different. So Mont Marte Studio acrylic paints. The previous one, if you saw it, I did the white 70-30, 70 glue, 30 water. This one is 60% glue, 40% water for all the paints, the whites and the colours. So it's really hardly even leaving a mound. And you'd look at it and you think, well, that's too thin, but it's just, I don't know, the white seems to be different. It's kind of more of like an oily sort of a feel to it. It just feels different. So anyway, I think it's going to have to be thinner like this. I have made up a little bit of extra white. The previous pour I had what did I have? 1,000 grams of white. I've got 1,200 of white now. I just made up a little bit of extra. I've also added some of this green. It's a turquoise green. I made up all of those and I thought, oh, just put a little bit of green in. So now I've got a bit of green, but now I've got too much colour. So don't let me use it all, okay? I just need the same amount, but a little bit of paint left over. Don't want to use it all. Okay, 4 cells, the Spot On Treadmill Silicone. I find this is the best one. When I started, I used to use the coconut milk hair serum, but it's really quite thick. And the cells just sort of, because it's so thick and gluggy, they just sort of stretch all over the place. I'm going to do 4 drops in each, because there's a lot of paint, including the white, and not much in the way of colour. So let's just pop an extra drop in. So 4 in each. Yeah, so this one, I just mixed some turquoise with some light green and a little bit of white. I've got this aqua green colour. It's similar to Liquitex Basics Aqua Green if you've used that one. And then this is the Raw Sienna. This one is turquoise with a bit of blue in it to make this coastal turquoise that I make. This one is just navy, which is the phthalo blue with a little bit of black in it. And I did have to add a little splash of water to that one because the blue always seems to be a little bit thinner. And this one is just the Mont Marte turquoise with some white. So you can make a lot of colours. If you just buy your basic colours, you can do turquoise with white, blue with black, turquoise with blue. I bought that one. And then turquoise and green and white. So there's lots of colours you can make. You don't have to buy each and every colour. You can mix your own. Righto. So let's pop some white in the bottom. And I need to keep half of this cup of white for my top layer. So it's kind of 1.5 big cups in the bottom, and then 1.5 cups for the top. I just thought I'm just going to split it into 3 cups because it was getting way too full and I couldn't stir it. So that's why it's in 3 cups. For this technique, it doesn't matter if you've got more paint. You know, when I do my stripies, my flip and drags, it is important there not to have too much paint because you can't stretch your middle section out and it sort of goes thin. If you're doing stripes, it just looks weird because you can't stretch your middle out. But with this technique, where I'm not going for stripes, yeah, you can have more paint. It's probably an easy technique to do if you're struggling with big, you know, flip cut pours. Now I'm just going to do these the same all the way through. Not sure how the brown and the green are going to go together. Should I do it that way? No, because the brown and green still together. Alright, so I'm just going to put a little layer of each. And as I said earlier, not use all the paint because now I've got too much paint. I don't want it too bright, you know, I'm looking for that watery, ethereal, sort of calm sort of look. So not too much paint between my sandwiches. The white paint is my white bread, and then the colours are my fillings. And you don't want too much of this colour, otherwise it's not a sandwich pour anymore. It might as well just be a normal flip cup. The whole idea of having a lot of white and a little bit of colour is so you get that really pale, watery look. And I just think it's lovely using, you know, the blues, the watery colours. They just really lend themselves to this technique. Actually, I've got a lot of turquoise left. I don't know why. I think I might have made up a little bit of extra turquoise. So there we go. So I've still got, if you add all these bits together, I've probably still got 1 cup of paint left. But I'm just going to finish off with a little bit of navy. I'll use up my navy. The navy tends to get lost, I think, because it's usually a transparent colour. So just, I really do like navy, especially with white. So it's my colour scheme at home, so I don't mind using that up. And then I'll just keep the rest of the colours. It's not much in each, but keep them anyway. All right, now let's finish off our sandwich with some white. Try and pour your white really carefully. Just take your time. You don't want it sinking through. So just go gently. A little layer of white first, and then you can add more to the top of that layer. Just want to make a barrier there really before you start pouring too much white in. So I'm hoping with that little bit of extra paint, I know some of you like to sort of see the way my brain works. I'm thinking the extra paint I can tilt, cover the whole canvas and still have a nice thick layer of paint on the surface, and then after I've torched I can then tilt around because I've still got quite a lot of paint, and then be able to stretch my cells out. So that's my reasoning behind having a little bit of extra white paint. And yeah, because of this technique you can have extra, you can tip off paint, keep what you want, get rid of what you don't want. Probably safer having a little bit more really, but we'll see what happens. And I've thinned this white down, so I don't know how it's going to go. It's just strange, the white. I don't know, white is my nemesis. It's just always given me grief, white paint. And you look at this paint and you think, oh, it's so thin, but then when it pours out, it's really thick, and the cells don't want to pop through. It's really quite bizarre. I think I'm going to do 1 cup at a time this time, because last time I kind of struggled with where to, I was going to hit that cup there. So I'm just going to do 1 at a time. So I'm going to do a flip-flop pour, which means, well, to me, instead of just dragging it down, I'm just going to sort of flip it over and then kind of flop it around the place. I don't know. It just seems like a nice name, a flip-flop pour. So, see what happens. So I don't want to drag, because then you get your stripes when you drag. And I don't want to really just flip. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Just give that a minute. And then depending on where this one goes, then I can decide where I want to put the next cup. Just going to smooth those over because that was a big blob. And now if you have a nice smooth pour around and you've got this big blob in the middle, it won't look nice. You're better off getting rid of it and then pouring over the top. Okay, let's do this. Flip flop. All right, kind of dragged it, but if I drag too fast, I get stripies. So, oh, look at those colours. That's so pretty. All right, maybe this one can kind of go, I don't know, because if you go that way, then you're kind of stuck here. You can't like cross over. I should probably try here. No, I can't flip backwards. I don't know. Maybe I can sort of come this way. No, because I'm right-handed. Maybe sort of there, across there, and then I can do, I don't know. I'm just gonna do it however it goes. It goes. It looks as if they're all going the same way at the moment. I'll most likely tip these stripies off anyway. Might as well keep them all going this way because then I can tip off this whole bottom bit if I don't like it. Loving those colours. Pop. Pop. Love popping bubbles. It's like popping bubble wrap. It's very therapeutic. I kind of went a bit differently. Hey. I don't think it really matters. You know, once you start tilting and your paint's doing this and swishing all over the place, it's really not going to matter how you tip your paint out. It's really not. Oh, look how fast that's running. So these techniques where you just sort of flip, flop, I think they're quite easy for a beginner because, you know, you don't have to worry about if you're doing stripes to keep your stripes straight. This technique, you can just tilt everywhere and then torch and then have a little bit of a tilt afterwards. So you don't have to risk overstretching your cells. So, because that's the main thing, people overstretch cells. It's taken me a long time to work out that I can actually cover the whole canvas or pretty much the whole canvas and then torch and tilt. Love it. Okay, that's all the paint out. I like these colours much better than the first one. I think I did a better job of pouring them all out. I don't know that I'm going to turn it. You guys can still see, can't you, if I just tip this way? Oh, it's heavy. No, I can't tip towards me. I have to turn it. Try not to get paint all over the place. Oops, I just got some on my shirt. Let me wipe that off. Got my painting scrubs on. And it's got scrubs, nursing scrubs from eBay. Then whenever I'm going to paint, I just get into them. Okay, so now, as I said, we don't have to worry about keeping our lines or anything. And just because you've got more paint doesn't mean that you can just swish it straight off, eh? Do your sides first. still want to keep as much paint on the surface as you can. So it's moving really fast because there's a lot of paint on here. Just because you've got a lot doesn't mean that you can tip a lot off. The whole idea, remember, is we're keeping the paint on the surface so that we can torch afterwards and then bring up cells. If you get rid of all your paint now, you're not going to have enough paint left on the surface for your cells to form. So minimal paint loss at this stage, because we're going to tilt again afterwards. So don't lose too much now, hey? Keep it on there. Because you want a lot of paint here for when you're torching. You want lots of layers still on the surface for your torching, so that the oil can come up to the surface and bring the cells with it. All right, let's see if I can turn this around again. Oh, that's a big one. It's tricky to turn a big one like this on your own. Okay, so I have to wipe my hands again because I'm covered in paint now. So now I still need to cover here and here. So let's get the paint down there. So you don't want it going off here just yet. I'm going to need to cover this side. And then back. Don't lose too much, remember. Then we'll go up here and cover this side. Put your hands underneath the canvas here, not on top of the canvas, so you don't leave fingerprints. Again, try not to lose too much paint. That's almost covered. So now we just have to do this corner and that, but try again not to lose paint from the top there, okay? We're going to need that. Don't want to thin out your paint too much. Get the paint where you need it to go. And work slowly. There's no rush. I know we're losing some there, but we can't really do much about that. We're just going to have to go for it. Try and keep, as I said, try and keep as much as you can on the surface. Okay, so you can see that it's, look at all that paint. You can see it's still there. I think I've put my finger through that. See, there's a stripe there. Oh, look at those colours. Should we just leave it like that? That is just magnificent. The white's looking better. I can't thin the white out anymore. 60-40, you know, is it. I can't do any more. It would just blend too much. So let's torch, and then we'll tilt a little bit more. Now this will be a good test to see if the cells are going to pop up through this white. Whether the white's still too thick, but as I said, I can't do any more to the white. I can't thin it out anymore. It'll just be way too thin. Taking my time. I really want to do a pretty painting with this one, so I'm really taking my time. Because the paint's a bit thicker here, hopefully I'll get nice cells up. Left a decent amount on the surface. We've hardly tipped any off. I'm going to go and tilt after I've done this, so we can tip more off then and stretch the cells out. Don't need a lot of cells, I don't think, for this particular technique. I think less is more. It's just a really subtle, that's the word, subtle, natural kind of a look. So try not to overdo it with your cells. Be really careful not to get too close and get a big cluster of cells coming up. Just take your time. And don't, I'm not going to do it with the torch, but don't do that, because you just end up getting hot spots where the torches hit the paint. Just keep going round in gentle circles, not straight down. You get too concentrated heat in one section, and you get a cluster and you'll get caterpillars, so don't do that. Right, so next I'm going around again. This time I'm getting a little bit closer. Not too close, but just a little bit closer. See if anything wants to come up and say hi. This white section here, I'm not going to get anything through that. See, that's quite a thick white section. And again, you know, if you've got too much paint, apart from it being maybe the wrong consistency, if it's too thick, if you've got too much paint, as in, you know, a layer of white that's too much, then as well your colours may have trouble coming through. So it's a bit of a fine line. You want the white because it's a sandwich pour, but you don't want too much white because then the colours can't make their way through. They just can't physically get through because it's such a thick, heavy, opaque colour. They have trouble popping through. I think that's quite nice. Look at that. That's just minimal torching, isn't it? I think I did well with that. We can always torch again afterwards. After we've stretched some of this paint out and it thins a little bit, we can actually torch a little bit more afterwards. But let's just, wish I could just get some more right in the middle there. Alright, I'm going to leave it at that. As I said, I can always come back and get some more cells later. So if you saw the previous pour, at this stage the cells were tiny. But look what they're doing. You can actually see multicolours. This is much better. This mix, much better. And we're getting cells through the white. Not everywhere, but we are getting cells through the white. Where the white's thicker, obviously we're not getting very many. And that's okay. That's okay. I've got quite a lot of cells happening just here, so I may have to tip some of that off. And it's a bit blobby just there. I think that was where the end of my cups were, down this end. Was it? No, I can't remember now. Anyway, let's do a bit of a tilt. Getting stuck. So, as you can see, the paint is moving really well. Now this is where you're going to have to be careful not to overstretch everything. Just walk it very gently, left and right as you're going down, same as I do with my big flip cups, my flip and drags. All we're doing is trying to stretch some of these cells out, okay? And don't want to lose those down there. So you just have to be really careful. There's a lot of paint still on here. Let's see if I can turn it around again without dropping paint on the floor. It's tricky. Can someone jump down and help me? I'm going to make sure I don't get it on my shirt too. Oh. Alright, there, I did it. Take your hands around, not over the top because you've got paint on your gloves. Last thing you want to do is take those gloves over the top. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's pretty, it's pretty. Now, I do want to get some of that off if I can, but you have to be really careful that you don't overstretch up here. Actually, I think what I'll do is I'll just torch again, see if I can get any little cells up, and then I can stretch those as well. Let's try here in that white section where I wasn't getting anything before. Now that the paint's stretched out, may have a little bit more luck getting a few cells up. I don't want a lot though, I don't want a lot of cells. It did a little bit. Didn't do a lot, did it? A little bit. ones coming up. But you know, as I stretch this, they will come up and grow a little bit more. Can't really see the brown as much either. Hey, I had that problem with the last one. It just kind of, it's very subtle, the brown, the little bits of brown. Although out of 5 bluey green colours, I only had one. Well, out of 5 colours, there were 4 bluey greens and only 1 brown. So that's probably why. It's just a hint of brown. I think if I had more brown, I would have gone, ooh, it's too brown. But I like this green. Look at that pale green. Do you like that through there? The last one, I did get a hint of green, but it was a weird green. Okay. Now, you don't have to tilt this anymore. You know, if you're happy with it, that's fine. I just want to see if I can get some of that off or stretch some cells out a little bit more. There's still a lot of paint on the surface here, especially just there. But I just have to be careful though, because if I stretch that too much, these are going to overstretch. So I kind of wanted this to move, but I don't think it's going to move. That's moving there. That's moving. That's not moving up there. So for me to get the paint all the way down there, I have to take all this down there. And I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know. Doesn't look as if I'm going to be able to get to that down there, because this is just all moving too much. So no, I can't get down there without ruining the rest of it. So I'm going to leave it. Hope there's not too much paint left on the surface. There's a lot there. See how easily it's moving still? Maybe I can get some off this way, down here. No, I'm just going to leave it. It'll actually be a bit of an experiment to see how much paint I can leave on here without it cracking. No, I really like it. It's not worth ruining it just to get that little bit off there. It's not that bad an issue. Oh, look, got some little baby ones popping up just there. Let's see if I can get anything in here. Should have done that before I torched, shouldn't I? Before I tilted. No, but I did, and nothing else came up. It's because I've thinned it out a little bit more that I'm getting a few more cells. selective areas where I think I may just want a few more. Doesn't look as if it's going to give me any there. It must have quite a thick haze of white over it there. Alright, how's that look? Got a few more little ones just in there. They're actually quite cute. And then there's a few little ones there, a few little ones there. The little ones there, that was my issue of them being so small. But now that I've got little ones scattered a few more places, I've actually got a nice selection of big and small. So, yay, that makes me happy. All right, I'm just playing, sort of opening some of the cells up, but they will grow a little bit more. These little guys, they will grow a little bit more. They're so pretty. I'll take you down for a close-up of those shortly. Just shrinking these down here a little bit. See how these are a bit overstretched up here? It's going to be a long video, isn't it? Alright, so I'm getting a few little ones through there now, after I've stretched the paint a little bit more. Just wanted something just in there. I have to be really careful that I don't get too close. Alright, someone take the torch away from me, please. Alright, so what do you think of that, you guys? Not my usual stripy look, is it? But do you like it? I love it. Love it. And, you know, sometimes you really do struggle with the stripy ones because you think, oh, I've lost my composition, and you know, you wanted stripes and they've ended up like this. So with this technique where you're not going for stripes, give it a go. I think you'll find it's much easier. So yeah, lots of paint on the surface, and go from there. Just covering up my sides. She didn't go over this corner at all. That whole section there's blank. I'm going to need a big bit of paint. Put it at the top, let it run down, make its own pretty pattern. I guess I can touch that up afterwards, can't I? The video's going long enough. Just trying to match my colours. Oh, look, you can see where I've touched the sides there. I have to be more careful, but it's so hard. I'm trying to turn it. Alright, I'll fix that up later. I'll take you down for a close-up. Oh, love it. Love it. Now, can I show you? Can I get the other one out from underneath? Very, very carefully. There we go, there we go, there we go. Don't drip onto it. Oh, just put my shirt into it. Alright, real quick. There you go. What do you think? Do you like it? I have to touch up the side now because I touched my shirt on the side. This is the way, isn't it? Should have just left it where it was. I think they'd make a really nice pair together, wouldn't they? They're actually, I'm glad I kept it now. Alright, let me take you down for a close-up and then I'll fix my edges. Oh, 35 minutes. It's a long one. I've still got some little stripes here and there. Not necessarily stripes, but just blocks of colour, hey? Is that light better on? Oh, I don't know. Okay, let's see if we can see some pretty cells. So lots of movement in this painting. Look at those green ones. Oh, look at that turquoise one. Oh, it's amazing, that one. So I didn't get any huge clusters, which means, when it torched, which means my cells have still got room around them. See how they're not, most of them aren't really touching each other. They've got room around them. That's what I really like. I don't like them when they're all bumping into each other, because then they lose their round shape. So this was that area that I torched afterwards, and I got those little guys that have come up. Look at the blending of the colours though. The turquoise into the blue, into the white. Some really pretty cells there. It's a funny looking little ghosty guy there. But the cells next to him, look at that. White, navy, turquoise. 3 colours. That's what you want in your cells. And your mix has to be thin enough. Otherwise you won't get those multicolours. You'll just get like blobs, bullets of colour, one colour. The mix has to be thin enough for the oil to come up through all your layers and bring the colours with them. It's an interesting little section right there, isn't there? Look at that. So yeah, really, really like that one. And that was that first one. Inspiration for these paws, the sandwich paw. You look back on it and you go, nah, it's not really good. That had red oxide in it, I think, in the white split. But there's the other one. That was the first one. And then over there is the second one. Which one do you like? Do you like that one? See, this one's got a lot more white in it because the white was thicker. It hasn't blended as well. It's got 2 big blocks of white. Whereas this one, the white's thinner and it's blended much more natural looking, hasn't it? Considering the amount of white compared to the colours, there's still a lot of colour in it. But it's really pretty. It still looks really, really natural and subtle. I probably could have not used as much because I made up 5 colours and I only needed 4. But I've still got some in the bottom. I didn't use them all. So there we go. All right, enough for me. I'm going to go and sit with Lexi and her little babies and have some time with her. She had a busy night and I'm exhausted because I slept from between 2 AM and 5 AM, so I might go and have a little nana nap on the couch. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to hit the little bell for the notifications so that you'll get a message next time I put up a video. All right, thanks for watching. See you for the next one. Bye for now.